Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another weather forecast discussion for February 12th, 2022. Now, just like always, the closer and closer we get to an event, the more clarity there seems to be, so let's not waste any time because we do have to talk about not only a winter weather event that could bring snow, but we also have to talk about a severe weather event that we have been forecasting for quite some time, and I'll even show you a flashback here of what I said on February 4th. Gotta watch out for that somewhere over here. From the central to southern U.S. into the eastern portions of the U.S., that is where there could potentially be some severe weather. I'm anticipating within the end of week 3 or sometime within week 3 of February, so that'd be the 14th through the 18th. And that event still holds true to this day. During this time frame, we have been seeing a lot more clarity. So let's dive straight into the satellite imagery to try and see what the general flow of the atmosphere is. We have a big trough that is ejecting on through with our Alberta Clipper that's going to be surging on, creating snow for portions of Ontario, Quebec, as well as the Midwest and the Great Lakes. This could also create some remnant amounts of precipitation that lingers on through portions of the Ohio River Valley into the mid-Atlantic, even into portions of the upper deep south. So watch out for that. Could be some snow that can move on through. And then we're also looking at this big ridge here that's in place. You can see this clockwise flow here in the atmosphere. And this is indicating a high pressure system that is now moved off further in towards the western portions of the United States. Before it was off the coast, now it's starting to move further and further eastward. So some pretty comfortable weather over for portions of the western United States, but that is expected to change here relatively soon. Because if we take a look at the weather models here with the North American model, of course, the time is above me in Eastern, so consider the following with that. You can see how everything seems to be relatively quiet in the west, but then towards the east, well, that's not exactly the case here because boom, big snowstorm, or not exactly a big snowstorm, but a relatively surprising snowstorm for this time frame here in the middle of February, to where there could definitely be some lower visibility within some of those areas for an abundance amount of time from Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon. Definitely could be some lingering snow showers, and then there could even be another clipper that could move on through, bringing some snow to the upper plains as well as the prairies of Canada. So watch out for that if you guys live within that general vicinity. Definitely could see some snow within that general area that could even march on through in towards portions of the Midwest as well. Just another loop, a constant loop of what we've been seeing over the past 2 weeks. These clippers form up here towards the portions of the prairies in Canada. They just kind of slide on through and they create some snow. But look at this up here in the Pacific Northwest, up towards portions of British Columbia. Snow and rain does exist within that general area around this time frame of Monday morning into Monday afternoon, and that will continue to march on through and create some wintry precipitation as well as general precipitation that could even lead to flash flooding. So watch out for that if you guys live within those areas. There isn't really any sort of significant snowfall totals across the board, except for here within areas of where that snowstorm could potentially be within the time frame of tonight, which would be Saturday night into Sunday. So watch out for that, all right? There could be 3 to 5 inches of snow, especially in the Shenandoah Mountains as it moves on through and towards the upper Delmarva Peninsula, even into portions of Washington and Baltimore, Philadelphia, even into portions of New York City. You guys can get into this activity, and even to portions of Cape Cod. You guys can get some activity there. Now, the other area I want to talk about is the area on the eastern portion of Lake Michigan. You guys could potentially get some higher than expected snowfall totals because some lake effect snow could linger across some of those areas too. So watch out for that. But otherwise, there isn't expected to be some significant amount of snow across some of these areas. I'd expect maybe a flurry or two, maybe a general dusting across some of these areas, especially if you are in this gray. But if you don't see snow, don't get too upset. We are transitioning into the phase, and I'm starting to see that winter is starting to come to a close. Real quickly, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to subscribe as well as like the video so we can spread this out to as many people as possible, and share it with friends and family and on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, text message, whatnot. Thank you so much, and let's get straight back into the video. So we showed you what's happening with the atmosphere and the general satellite imagery, and that also replicates as to what's happening here with our wind shear. You can see here at the 500 millibar level, which is about 6 kilometers above ground level. That is the upper levels of the atmosphere. You can see the general flow of it and how this continues to move on through. Your clipper moves into portions of Ontario and Quebec, creating some strong wind shear off of the coast of the United States. But that new storm that starts to move on through, look at this. This is what creates your wintry precipitation and your just precipitation in general across portions of the Pacific Northwest into portions of British Columbia. Lot of strong wind shear within that area, and that's because you have a new trough here, a shortwave trough that's going to be moving on through with a low pressure system that heads off into the Rockies, and then you have another developing low pressure system that's going to move through the prairies and be another clipper that'll create some snow for portions of Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec as well. So let's play this out here with the wind shear. You can see how things start to amplify. You have your new low pressure system that moves off into the Hudson Bay. And then this is your severe weather maker right here that is basically going to create a lot of severe weather for the areas of the deep south into the southeast and even into the southern plains if it can get moisture up into that area. And even the Storm Prediction Center agrees. We're taking a look at the day 5 convective outlook for severe weather. You can see there is a 15% chance for severe weather indicated in this yellow, which does include portions of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area heading off in towards extreme northeastern Texas like Texarkana, into portions of Little Rock, and even southern portions of Tulsa into Fort Smith. You guys could potentially see some severe weather. You guys are in a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. And if we shift gears from Wednesday into Thursday, it's even bigger, all right? This is Thursday's event, to where it includes much of areas near the Ohio and Mississippi River Delta, all the way down into much of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, as well as portions of Arkansas, Memphis, Nashville. You guys are in the activity. But to be completely honest with you guys, I am watching for portions of central to southern portions of Mississippi in towards portions of Louisiana and even Alabama. Window of opportunity for some tornadoes is definitely possible within that general vicinity, and I'll show you guys here why with the Euro model. So we talked about just for a bit about how that low pressure system, that clipper system that's going to be moving on through so we talked about that low pressure system that's going to just basically move on through into the Hudson Bay, and then we talked about the new low pressure system that's going to move on through into portions of the Central Plains. And so what we're going to take a look at here is the 850 millibar winds, which is about 1 kilometer above ground level. This gives us an idea as to what our low level jet is, and this is useful to finding as to where the enhanced wind shear is for tornadoes to actually start spinning up. And we got some of that across the board here, some significant amounts of wind shear coming from the south, moving up to the north. And this is going to bring a lot of that moisture that's in the Gulf of Mexico and advect it further and further north into the areas to where there could potentially be some severe weather. But on the other hand, we have our low pressure system that's off into portions of Ontario that is going to supply a lot of cold air behind this. So what we have is an Arctic boundary that's going to start to develop. And this is going to create a lot of frozen precipitation on the back end of this, a lot of freezing rain, a lot of snow. So anywhere north of the boundary is more than likely going to get some frozen precipitation from this. And as we play it out from there, the low-level jet does continue to linger, and it even intensifies as it moves off into Thursday, which is the reason why I am still watching for the potential for some strong severe weather to occur on Thursday as well. So enough blabbering about, let's show you the simulated radar here from the Euro. You can see your low pressure system is starting to move on through with a lot of snow across the board from the time frame of Tuesday into Wednesday, and that'll continue to be the case as this moves off into portions of Ontario and Quebec. But then this is when things start to get interesting. You can see your Arctic boundary begin to develop here in portions of Iowa, Kansas, even into northern Missouri, into Wisconsin. And then below that, we have a lot of precipitation indicated in this green. And that's when things start to really become interesting. That is when your severe weather threat could continue to exist and even be the case for quite some time. So this is just another system that is going to continue to wreak havoc across the board. You have severe weather in the south, you have significant winter weather in the north. This right here, my friends, is a double whammy that is hitting a big home run across the board according to the Euro model. So the general time frame of Wednesday into Thursday is when I am most concerned across the board for all aspects of weather, and that'll continue to be the case even as it marches on through towards portions of the latter stages of the week. So definitely something to watch out for that. And then, of course, the next wave of weather will continue to exist. More than likely will be sometime within the mid stages of week 4. So just continue to watch out for some significant weather to be on the horizon, even after this system. So let's show you the intensity of these thunderstorms with the instantaneous flash rate. We're going to be taking a look at it from a 6-hour average. And so let's play this on through. You can see how a lot of the lightning strikes continue to intensify as it goes from Wednesday into Thursday. We'll even backtrack it a little bit. You don't see a whole lot on Wednesday. And the big reason for that is because of the lack of moisture that actually goes on through into the area. But then as soon as you get onto Thursday, I mean, you can see how widespread those lightning strikes actually are across the board. And that is the reason why Thursday will more than likely be a lot more significant than Wednesday. So we're going to continue to watch out for how this plays across. And I talked about the moisture here. You can see across the board, we're talking about Wednesday morning, and you only see some areas that get to about 60-degree dew points. You want about 60-degree dew points or higher in order for you to get severe weather, and this is basically going to be the case here on Wednesday. You see, you only have a narrow corridor of 60-degree dew points that actually seep into the area of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area all the way down I-35. So it's just one of those things to where how much moisture actually gets into this area. I think there definitely could be a lot more moisture that could seep into this general vicinity, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, and I think it's only going to be that narrow corridor. So severe weather could be limited on Wednesday, but then as you transition from then into Thursday, I mean, look at this. You have a plethora amount of 60-degree dew points across the board, even in front of the cold front. So it's not really going to be the case. And then on the other hand, you can see how the cold and dry air even seeps in behind this. So the cold air will also play a factor as well for winter weather. Now, the other thing that plays a role is the convective available potential energy. And this basically tells us as to how much energy there is in the atmosphere for thunderstorms to either form or sustain. So the bigger displacement between the warm air rising and the cold air sinking, the greater the CAPE numbers are, the higher the chance for thunderstorms to, do what they do. And so we're going to want to try and see if we can find a plethora amount of CAPE across the board. And we do have that there from Wednesday into Thursday as you get in towards the late evening hours. So there could be some thunderstorms there. But then as this transition from Thursday, you can see that there is still a plethora amount. Maybe not as much, but still there could be a plethora amount in upwards of 1,000 joules per kilogram, maybe even 1,500 joules per kilogram. And I'm expecting that number to actually rise. I think this might be a little bit underdone because of how some of the models here from long range aren't exactly very well receptive of convective activity. So it's just one of those things to where if we get closer and closer to the short range models, we're going to definitely have a better idea as to what could actually happen across the board. But for the most part, from the energy levels that we are seeing from this, we could definitely see a severe weather event within this general area. And on the other hand, you can see how much freezing rains across the board. You can see the maximum at the bottom right-hand corner. About an inch of freezing rain is possible across some of these areas. So we're definitely going to have to continue to watch as to whether or not this recedes a little bit further north. I do think it has the possibility of doing that. But it just honestly depends upon how much cold air goes into this general area from that low pressure system in Canada and how much warm air advects from the Gulf of Mexico. Where that general gray area could potentially be as to where that cold air and warm air fights it out is where that freezing rain could potentially be. So we're going to have to continue to keep you guys up to date as we get closer and closer to that. And if we transition over here to the snow, well, we don't see a whole lot of snow except for portions of the eastern Lake Michigan general vicinity into portions of Michigan. But other than that, not really a whole lot that we can anticipate, which is the reason why I'm saying that winter more than likely could start to recede a little bit as we get towards portions of middle to end of February. So just continue to watch out for. Winter's not exactly done and over with, but it is starting to recede for the most part. So I will be uploading videos every single day from now on up into the event. So that means I will have a video out on Sunday night. But I know the Super Bowl is a thing, so people may not be able to make it, which is fine. I will be uploading videos every single day up until the event. And more than likely, I will be live on Wednesday and Thursday, so please be sure to have notifications onto the channel. And we might even have a companion. Our good friend Matt might be storm chasing that day. So we will have a storm chaser that will be out and about for this event as well. So please be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. If you did enjoy the content, please be sure to leave a like, as this does help me spread this information out to more and more people on YouTube. And we are going to want to spread the information, guys, because there could be a lot of people that are not really focusing on this event right now. And severe weather is impactful. It only takes one tornado to impact a person's life. And so we're just going to have to continue to just try and get information out to as many people as possible. And that does include liking the video and even copying the link to the video, sharing it with friends and family and on social media, whether it's text message, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. Just trying to get the information is probably the best thing to do. Also, please be sure to follow me on social media. Links will all be in the description down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys on Sunday night. And our Give It To Me Straight question of the day is a bit of an easy one, all right? What are your current temperatures right now, and do you enjoy it, all right? I just walked out yesterday to 60-degree temperatures, and it felt amazing. So what are your temperatures outside right now? I'll pin the one that's the most interesting. And thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys on Sunday night. Peace out, everyone.